Slaughter.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Morgan.
Welcome to the show, Morgan.
Thanks for having me.
So you grew up in Louisiana.
I did.
How the heck did you end up in Dripping Springs,
Yeah.
Texas?
Fun story. I was in college, have a hospitality degree, and I had to do an internship in order to graduate. And weddings were interesting. And I knew I was wanting to be in Texas for whatever reason. So when I found the Terrace Club, they were happy to take me in. So July of 21, I packed up everything and made the 6-hour drive over.
How hard was that? Like leaving your entire family and you're like, I'm going to Texas, y'all. That's it.
It was something because like you said, I left all my family, I left all my friends. I came here completely by myself. I didn't know a soul.
Do they not do weddings in Louisiana?
They
You had to come all the way to Texas?
They do, but like I said, there was some kind of draw to Texas. I
Yeah.
knew something in me was like, we're gonna be here,
Yeah.
and it's gonna work. And I originally really wanted to go to Dallas. For whatever reason, again, no
God's-
ties to Texas
Yeah.
at all.
God saved you. From
God
not-
saved me.
Yeah.
You ended up in the best place in Texas.
Yeah, it all worked out for the best because it was terrifying. I was like, little baby 21-year-old me didn't know anything. I was like, what am I doing?
How'd you find the Terrace Club?
Just Google.
Really?
Honestly, I think I just probably searched wedding venues in Texas.
And the Terrace
And
Club's been
Terrace
around a long
Club
time.
Has been around for, she'll celebrate 25 years.
Wow.
In September, I believe. And yeah, they were like the only place that got back to me and actually talked to me and had the opening. So I was like, all right, I'm coming.
Yeah. Wow.
So-
What was it like growing up in Louisiana?
Oh, it's big fun.
Is it?
You know? Yeah.
No, tell me.
My mom is originally from deep South Louisiana.
Okay.
So
She looks exactly like her mother.
Oh, is that right?
Her mother and her are spitting image of each other.
My older sister and I
Yeah.
are copy
Mini-me.
paste.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So the Cajun blood is strong, and
So
when you were going catfishing on the weekends and alligator hunting, tell us about that.
Well, I want to know how you pronounce. Is it Natchitoches or is it
Natchitoches is Texas.
Okay.
So when people say that to me, I'm
Yeah.
like, you don't even know your
Okay.
own.
So it's
Natchitoches.
Natchitoches.
Natchitoches. It was the first settlement in Louisiana Purchase.
It's not spelled the same though.
Natchitoches.
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 Natchitoches. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's old and touristy and Christmas fun's the whole town type of thing.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Our Christmas fest is like,
Is that
People
what got
from
you
all
into
over town.
wanting to do weddings and party
Or event
planning and stuff like
well, yeah, kind of like there was always so much stuff going on, and then in school we did so much stuff around the town,
Yeah.
event wise, and yeah, so it was just always interesting and moving parts and the logistics and making sure all your vendors are together and just that type of
Yeah.
puzzle is really what it is. It's a puzzle that just has to come together.
that? Does that kind of stuff stress you out, or are you like you see organization in the chaos?
There's organization in the chaos.
Yeah.
But that's just how I function.
But
I'm
you
like,
don't. It doesn't stress you out.
No. I mean, there's stressful parts and like some things that happen, especially when it's like day of and you're running around and need to be 7 places, in
Yeah.
2 hours.
Do you
But
thrive
yeah,
on that? though?
oh yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that's what kind of drew me more towards the wedding side was because we tell brides your wedding is so unique and it's so amazing and it's your perfect day. Every wedding's the same.
Yeah.
In the
Oh,
grand
that's
scheme
funny.
of things,
We have a thing in real estate. We walk around everybody's house and go, "This is a beautiful house. This is a really pretty house," even when they're not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know what you're saying.
I would never say that to any of my brides,
Yeah.
but they don't.
What do you
they
think
don't.
she's gonna go? You're ugly. You're the ugliest bride I've ever seen.
Your dress is basic. Everyone does the pearl veil.
Yeah.
I
How
have a
did you
pearl veil.
find anybody that
You'll be
would marry
divorced
you?
in 6 months.
Yeah. So yeah. Once you find your footing and you're just like, but you get a knack for it too. But
Yeah.
in any event, but especially just in weddings for me, it clicked quick, and it's
Well, I think
fun.
if you have, there are some people that have, when the chaos gets a little too high, they stress out and panic and they can't handle it. So you obviously have the talent of keeping it together and keeping things moving, even when it seems like there's just fires everywhere.
If something were to happen on wedding day, my bride needs to be the last to know.
Oh,
unless it's like, hey, your father just had a heart
100%.
attack, or the officiant's not coming anymore. You know, something like super outrageous that affects the entire day.
Sure.
No, you don't need to know that the caterer's late or forgot.
I was just
a dish,
thinking that.
or
Yeah,
we have less staff than we anticipate. You know, like she needs to be the last one to know.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to stress about stuff.
And the
like
groom is just clueless. So you don't even tell him.
I tell people, grooms, yes. But, you've met them a few times, so, you're familiar-ish. But when you get to wedding day and you're meeting groomsmen for the first time, groomsmen are my favorite because they're terrified.
Oh, is that right?
They're terrified. I've had so many, I walk in and they're like, I'm sitting up straight. They're like, what's up? What are we doing? Where do I need to be? Because they're so afraid to mess it up. They're so afraid to be the person that, the weak link that did something wrong.
Or also they're probably hungover from the night before.
Or they're hungover. I haven't had any group of groomsmen that were an issue. I have had one set of bridesmaids.
Oh,
that were not necessarily like an issue, but it was like they've been drinking or they're won't put the vape down for pictures. It's like, hey, can you shut up and smile for a second? And that's really only happened like once. Really,
pull them aside and say, listen.
Well, you just get stern. Like me and photographer were like locking eyes, like you understand what I'm thinking too, when we're like, hey, snap, like let's go.
Yeah.
Have you ever had the issue of extended family, like the stepmom, stepfather kind of dynamic to where that's all kind of going out behind the scenes?
No nastiness. People really, the reality shows and TV and movies, because it's so funny, make weddings so much more dramatic and stressful and terrible than they are. People day of really do know, like, this is not my day. This is their day. I need to like put myself over here. For the most part, sure, they might be thinking something different. But
Kendall's wedding, somebody punched somebody at Kendall's wedding.
Oh, jeez.
That sounds like a good time.
It was. I didn't know about it. Nobody knew about it until much later. I didn't know about it.
But see, so then it happened perfectly then.
It did. It happened.
It didn't ruin the day.
It happened. And so now
She was going to say something. What were you going to say more?
I don't even remember where I was at. But,
right. Something.
So, yeah, anyway. But, yeah, no, everyone kind of just stays straight. Oh, you asked about family.
Yeah.
No, I did have like a string this one time of like every couple I had for like weeks had divorced parents. So when I finally got to one that didn't, I was like, thank you that your parents love each other, or at least civil. And it's nothing hard to get around when we have that meeting. It's just like, okay, what's the dynamic? Be for real with me. Can mom and dad sit together just for the ceremony? Or, does dad need to be a few
or
down,
is somebody going to get punched if we do that?
Yeah, and there's never that kind of drama. Not that I've had.
Not behind the scenes.
Some people can't put that stuff away while somebody else is celebrating something.
Well, and now you are planning your own wedding.
I'm planning my own wedding.
So how is it being on this side of the wedding planning?
It's been so interesting.
Yeah.
It's like a newfound empathy for the brides who don't have my knowledge.
Yeah.
Because, we tell them all the time, you don't know what you don't know. It's like, now I do know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And, so.
What's surprising you?
Cost of flowers.
Yeah, right. The cost of stuff.
Cost of stuff was I was aware because I see those at all my meetings. I know what those numbers look like, and I knew how to save. I knew how to make things as affordable as possible. So my only not hiccup or hard thing, because it's not that hard, but it was just lodging for so many people coming out of state, because all my people are coming from Louisiana. All of Nathan's family is from Washington.
Oh.
So it was a big, trying to organize that and find enough space for everybody. Because that was probably, the only one thing that had never fallen into my lap to take care of for a bride.
You got Mama Lewis's house. I got 3 bedrooms.
Hey, don't tell me that. It's too late now.
Sold.
They're put up somewhere. So it's been fun and interesting. We're at the part now where we're so close that I'm like, normal quote brides are like panicking at this point in my shoes because they're like, what am I forgetting? What's left to do? What's, and I'm on the complete other end of that where I'm like, I'm bored. Let's go. Like,
I felt with all three of my kids' weddings that the last week, I called it the $2,000 week because it was always the last week where I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about, even with the last one, I forgot about tips and I forgot about, just like general stuff that I had to pay for. And it was like, okay, well, here's $2,000 is out the door for that. Yeah. But, and now you're doing Colton's wedding.
When you say doing, I'm like, all I know is he said, you need a suit. It's cocktail attire. And so I got to go suit shopping. And then I have to bring my credit card to the rehearsal dinner. And that's pretty much all I know.
You just need a suit and a credit card.
Suit and a credit card.
That's the dad's role on both sides.
Is it? Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I'm going to go get a suit and we'll see what happens.
How did you meet Nathan?
We met at the gym.
Oh, so that's
he likes to tell the story differently, so I love that you asked me this, so I can give the world the version. Truth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, like I told you guys earlier, we go to Los Campeones off of 290 above the batting cages, and this was June 23, and we had noticed each other in there a couple times, but never spoke, and then he was in the background of a video, a friend of mine who was videoing himself benching or something. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the guy. And so and he was tagged in the video because they knew each other. So I was like, oh, here's him. So I found like his Instagram and so I followed him.
She stalked him.
Oh, well, And well, then after I followed him and Nathan followed me back, well, then he asked that mutual friend about me and was basically just like making sure I wasn't crazy.
You are
invalid. Well, he likes my crazy.
A certain amount of crazy is okay.
Yeah, certain amount of crazy.
I'm crazy too.
So yeah, I got the thumbs up from this friend, and then that friend called me and was like, "Hey, this guy's asking about you," and I was just like, "Enough said." Like, gotcha. So I waited a few days, and then he was taking too long, so I just DM'd him, and I was just like, "Hello."
Is that what you said? Hello?
I think I said something like, hey, seen you around. Something along those lines. And he messaged me right back. And then we saw each other at the gym a few days later or something. And once we met, it was just...
Guys hit it off right away.
It was it. We were fast friends. We clicked.
Yeah. Meeting people at the gym is a little bit iffy. It's
he would have never approached me, and he tells me that all the time. He's like, thank God, like, you said something, or he was like, I would have been, like, on the lookout for you at HEB or something, like, to not approach you at the gym and be that guy.
Well, that's the thing.
And I was like, well, there's a right and wrong way, and he's like, just no.
Yeah, I think for most guys, they don't think there's a right way to approach a woman in the gym. There's too many videos on Instagram about some woman yelling at some guy because he said hi. Yeah.
So
you
work out a lot.
I work out a lot.
So you work out at Los Campeones. Are you a heavy weight lifter, or are you doing more reps?
Right now we're trying our best. I had my meniscus repaired back in June. So we're climbing that tree back, trying to get strong. But yeah, I mean, I'll never go as far as doing like a competition, bodybuilding or anything like that.
How'd you get into it in the first place?
I played sports growing up. Okay. Played softball a lot, hence the bad knee. And I played volleyball in high school, so kind of started working out more seriously then. And then just all throughout college, kind of, that early era when you're in the gym, kind of doing everything like kind of right, mostly wrong.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you see some progress and you're like, oh, okay. And then when I moved here, there was an Anytime where that ballet studio is now before they built the new Anytime. Right. But then me and a friend found Los when they opened because they hadn't been open long by the time we went in 22. And, that was a little more legit gym. Like,
why do you say it's legit versus like goals?
Well, like just the commercial gyms, are so there's rules and there's just like, they don't want you throwing around the big weights. They don't want you slamming down your deadlift, or if you get crazy with dumbbells, you got to toss them out. Like commercial gyms like that, big box gyms like that, they don't love that stuff. And a gym like Los, where it's a privately owned thing, is
They get it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're there to get strong. I mean, we have so many bodybuilders. It's not as influency as like Lift ATX, which that's still a cool, and Ragtag looks like a garage type gym too. I mean, it's really fun. It's really cool being over there. So yeah, Los just had that edge.
Yeah.
That's why it's their motto, the best gym in town.
Has it surprised
cool.
you about how strong you've become?
Oh yeah. I tell people all the time, I'm like, I wish I would have worked out like this back like in high school. And eating right too. Yeah. Because that's
Well, I was just going to ask you, what's your after workout routine?
After?
Do you do any?
Well,
do you have
we go at night now. I used to be a 5 a.m.er.
Okay.
And I loved it.
Yes, you and me both.
Yeah, but you like to run.
I do.
You won't catch me running.
Yeah.
No, I used to be a 5 a.m.er, and then, it'd be so nice the rest of the day. You might get a little sleepy around 3 or 4, but...
There you go, Michelle. That's what's happening.
But it was a nice, start to the day, and then you've got the whole rest of the day. Evenings, and especially just with our schedules right now, we're getting in there a little later than normal, so usually it's gym, quick dinner, shower, bed.
Oh, yeah.
Which is still fine.
Yeah.
Everyone does it, but...
Tell me, so do you do like creatine or vitamins or anything like that?
I need to be more consistent with it.
Do you do creatine?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have Nathan. Nathan's better about it than I am, but yeah, we'll do a scoop or two a day, vitamins every now and then.
Yeah, somebody mentioned to me a couple years ago, and I did it. I started it in the summer, and I didn't realize at the time there is actually an adjustment period where your body doesn't handle heat as well. So being a runner, what I noticed was like I would get super overheated on a run, like to where I would like mile 6, I'd be like, I just can't keep going.
Yeah.
So I started it a year or so ago, when it was a little cooler, and let my body adjust. I'm a big believer in creatine. I think it
for some reason it still kind of gets a bad rap, or like people are like, oh, what's this suspicious white powder you're handling right now?
Yeah.
The first time I brought some home, my dad was like, what is that?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So it's been used by weightlifters for years.
It's been used. It's like one of the most studied,
and it's
products.
It's a natural thing.
It's
Your body has it already.
Makes it.
Okay, what is it supposed to do?
It helps you recover. It replenishes replenishes your muscles, and I think it allows me to push myself a little bit more during the week than I would, before when I wasn't on it. Especially now that I've gotten.
And if you eat a lot of red meat,
yeah,
you're still getting a decent amount, and we do.
Yeah, see, I don't do that, so it's a good plus for me. I don't eat red meat at all, but you knew that.
I did know that.
Yeah,
I did know that. I just don't know a lot about the supplements and stuff like that. It always seemed like hokey pokey to me, but I guess it's not.
Well,
I guess it's not hokey pokey.
Some people I think have like random opinions or like thoughts and like, oh, let's study this study that, but end of the day it kind of just comes to what your body responds to.
And what you're trying to do is get strong, stay strong, because you're much younger than me. What I'm trying to do is just keep going every day. That's all I'm trying to do. I just want one more day, and then the next I want one more day.
Just one more day. Do you see a big difference in growing up in Louisiana versus people from Texas? Because Louisiana, they're very prideful of where they're from, and I don't find it often people like Texans that are very prideful. And so are you seeing like a relation between the two?
Yeah. Texas natives are, Texas till we die.
Yeah.
And we have no intentions of leaving even the Dripping Springs, Austin area. Once Nathan found more west of Oak Hill, he was dumbfounded. He was this is awesome.
Yeah.
He's big Dripping Springs forever. But yeah, for sure. Like Louisiana, there's that Southern God's country pride, especially when you're from the more southernmost part of the state. But yeah, I don't think anything will compare to Texas diehards.
How do your parents feel about it? Like, because you grew up there. Do they come here to visit?
Have they come to visit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They've been here a couple times. They were supportive. They knew it was a big thing, and of course, I was just single girl out. My dad was a little like, okay. I think it made him
Yeah.
feel a little better especially once I got Nathan.
Well, being here in Dripping Springs is just,
Yeah,
so
and that was part of it
you're
too.
not
It was like,
scary
I don't want to
Austin.
be in the city. I was working in Dripping Springs. I didn't even
Yeah.
start my search for an apartment in Austin. I was like, absolutely not. I mean, I did my due diligence. It was like, here's the venue, here's this apartment, the
Yeah.
HEB's in between, and like, we're good.
Well,
Yeah.
and you want to know what's funny, Steve, is one of the first times that we really introduced her to Dripping Springs culture was Founders Weekend.
Oh,
Founders.
God.
And
Weekend.
Founders Weekend, she almost lost her liver because we had her drink way too much, and she met Kevin Fowler. I remember this story about you meeting Kevin. Do you remember this?
Look, you know,
Kevin.
the time that time
His
we're
hair-
not proud of it. Morgan was not going through a good time. Spring of 22.
But it was a good time to be had at Founders.
It was a good time, you know, and because I'm so young and youthful and healthy, the next day I was just fine.
Oh, God. I hate you.
So I know. So not my proudest moment, but we had fun.
Yeah. Well, if you hang out with Michelle, man, she'll show
Yeah,
you a
bad
good
influence.
time for sure.
I did. I think we stayed out till like 2 a.m. or something like that. Or,
Something like that, yeah.
yeah, we.
You
maybe.
forgot. You don't even remember
Yeah,
the time.
that time is blurry, but it's a time I'd rather forget anyway, so it's fine.
It's a blurry time. It's a blurry time. So, growing up in Louisiana, I understand the dialect is kind of all over the place. And there is the Haitian Creole, and then there's the French Creole. What part does your family kind of follow, or do they gotta have their own little?
The Cajun French.
Really?
That's my people. That's my mom's side of the
Cajun
family. Yeah.
French.
Yeah.
Are you going to give us a sample of that?
You guys could something you guys might call each other, mainly used by Michelle, called Steve a couillon,
A couillon?
Couillon?
crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
No, that's probably what he'd call me. That's probably what he'd call me.
I
Couillon.
think that's like really the only one I really know and recognize just from hearing it from
Yeah.
my grandmother mostly. But she'd spat things every now and then.
Yeah.
We're like,
Is her accent
when it-
really thick?
not as much now. My mom's whole side of the family is from South Louisiana, but my grandfather was in the Air Force, so they moved around a bunch, and then they
okay.
settled at Barksdale Federal Base in Bossier, Louisiana, more northern. So my mom and her brothers, my mom tells me that she had the accent when they were younger and living, and then it kind of faded.
Your
once you're-
accent definitely comes out at
Certain times,
It does,
yeah.
for sure. When you tell people that you're from Louisiana, do they just automatically assume that you're from New Orleans? Like that's their point of reference?
No, not necessarily, but in terms of where I try to tell them where I'm from, I'm like, 3-4 hours north of New Orleans, and they're like, okay,
Oh, we got it.
you know, this unknown area, because everyone always just knows Baton Rouge and
Yeah.
New
I
Orleans.
I don't even
like
know where
that's
Baton
it.
Rouge is. I know where New Orleans is, and that's about it.
Lafayette, Baton Rouge,
Yeah,
go south
Yeah.
to New Orleans.
Yeah.
Morgan, I'm going to kind of a couple general questions for you. What do you think about your generation? What generation are you, by the way? Do you know?
I don't know.
Gen Z.
Well,
Are you
it's
Gen
Gen
Z?
Z, but like every time I've looked it up or someone's brought it up, it's like people born like, my older sister was born in 96. So it's like 96, 97 to like 2002.
Oh,
It's like we were raised so
You were kinda on the
similarly.
cutoff somewhere,
Yeah, we're
yeah.
kind of like in this weird cutoff
yeah.
age where it's like I'm not into this like insanity that some of the Gen Z are into, but then
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What do you think about your generation as far as what's important to them and their work ethic? Just in general. Because you guys get a bad rap.
yeah, I don't know. I've never really been. I don't know how to say it.
You're obviously a
I-
really hard worker.
Yeah, I've tried to be hardworking. I have higher standards for myself than what should be legally allowed, and so like growing up in high school and college, when I saw some people doing something or not working or just partying, it was like that had no appeal.
Until you met
And-
Michelle.
Until I met Michelle, and then it was like, all right, let's go.
Look at this 50-year-old chick. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but like, and same thing. Like especially when I moved here and I told people I was 21 years old, they were like, looked at me like I was,
Oh, yeah.
you're 21.
I
Yeah.
thought you were much older.
Yeah.
Just because
Not-
of
not
your,
in a bad way.
No. Just because of
No.
your presence. Just the The way you carry
And I've
yourself.
gotten that
maturity, yeah.
my whole life. So,
So you're different than most of your generation.
and I hate to say it like that, but sometimes it has felt like that. And sometimes it got lonely in that feeling of like, why am I this way? Yeah. It's almost like, why am I better than you?
Well, you're
without saying it like that, because, it was like, oh, you kind of stop getting invited or being into these groups of things where it's like, oh, do I have FOMO of being a young, crazy 21, 22-year-old? But it's like, no, actually, I have no appeal for that. Like,
it wears off pretty quick.
Yeah, so
the fun wears off pretty quick.
So, yeah, but, I think our generation has this, like, it's just, like, weird. It's kind of, it all kind of just comes down to, like, how you were raised, because there were people who were raised exactly the same as me, but still kind of veered off, or, like, same thing, or had a worse situation than me, and now are way better off than I am or will ever be, like, and Nathan's a good example. Nathan didn't come from a super great background and childhood and all that stuff, so the way he's 2 years older than me, but the way he kind of got himself through life to where he is now is a testament to something.
Yeah. What do you think your future is going to look like? What do you dream about? What are you like hoping for in your life?
I dream to be a stay-at-home wife and mom.
Trad wife.
Yes.
Do you really? Good for you.
And me and Nathan have talked about that a bunch. Like he wants a big family. He wants 1 million kids. He wants this, Hallmark picture family. And I have no problem with that. My mom didn't work most of her, her married and motherhood life. And as far as I know, she's content with that. She works now, but, I like the work, and I've told him I'd probably always want to be in the wedding realm. So it's like, as long as Hunter has the building, I'll try to be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, no, if we start having kids, I'm at the house. I'll bake bread and pie.
It's the greatest job in the world.
Yeah. Like,
as long as you can buck the trend of people pushing out, like that, saying
I have no
that you shouldn't do that. You should go have a career or whatever, pushing back on
Well, and I think that's the nicer part of being in a town like Dripping instead of the city or somewhere else, where it's like, no, it's a little more.
You can have both.
Accepted.
Yeah. That's kind of what I did. I raised my kids up until I stayed home
at least
with
schooling age.
Yeah, until Kendall started kindergarten, and then I jumped back in, and did I sacrifice some of my career for that?
Yeah.
So what? But look at all 3 of my kids now.
I know,
they do great.
It's a worthwhile investment in your kids, for sure.
It absolutely is. We didn't mention that you are, because we talked about you being at the Dripping Springs City Lifestyle and, what you do there. And so you mentioned Hunter. So you're back at the Terrace Club. You're doing event planning for her. And you also kind of moonlight a little bit at Palm Social, too, which is a cute boutique
down
in
on
Dripping
Mercer
Springs.
Street.
It's a good time.
So, gosh, you're kind of all over the place.
Yeah, right now we're all over the place. Well, I was at the Terrace Club from summer of 21 to February of 23. I went and worked downtown at the JW. And I was there for almost 2 years. I left this past September, and because I was just, corporate's not for me.
Yeah. That
drive is terrible. They're always doing construction. I'm tired of the roads being different every other day that I'm trying to drive over there. So then especially after my surgery, and I was able to be like in Dripping more because I was allowed to work from home, and then I was kind of tiptoeing going back, and then I was just like, yeah, we got to be done with this. And then I took some time off. I had, like the most of the month of October, just time to calm down and figure it out, and that's when we got engaged. And I was familiar with Jordan, like just being in the store a bunch in and out. So I shot her a DM, and I was just like, hey, any chance y'all are hiring? And she was like, yes, please.
Can you start 5 minutes?
Yeah, well, she had some employees that were getting to be on the way out, and we've got some high school kids and one that's a senior, so she's fixing to be out. So it was just kind of good timing on all of our ends for me to dive in there. And then there was more of an opening back at the Terrace Club, and the girls over there knew that I had quit at the hotel, and I had popped in every now and then to help out a few times, so kind of creeping my way back into that a little more. And then the magazine. So we're
What
staying
what
busy.
do you wish?
I don't know how you keep up with all
Being
that.
here in Dripping Springs, do you wish that, or what would you like to see with Dripping Springs for young people your age? I feel like here in Dripping Springs, I mean, there's so much to do in Austin, but here in Dripping, like if you want to support local, you want to stay here local, besides just shopping, besides just constantly spending money.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have a lot of hiking trails. We don't have a lot of free stuff to do.
Skate park.
I mean, but I mean,
I know. That's for younger.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So, I mean, what would you like to see here in Dripping Springs?
Yeah, I mean, as far as getting more young people out here, when I first moved here and started meeting people outside of Dripping, and I told them I lived in Dripping Springs, they were either like, where's that? Or, oh my gosh, you drive to Dripping Springs every day. And being at the store and seeing more of the public in and out and seeing more young people, you can tell when they're from the city and they're not local or they don't come here often because they'll pop in and they're so amazed at like how good the prices are at a store here versus somewhere like the city. Or I had some girls come in the other day and they had mentioned something about being in like LA. And, they were like, oh my gosh, these prices. And I'm like, yeah. So it's been nice seeing more young people at least venturing this way.
Yeah, because I just think we need more stuff out here for you guys. Like because we've got a couple of clubs, we've got Hudson's, you've got some dance places, but I mean
Hudson's, and then what's the place across from Hudson's? The
Growlick's.
Growlick's, yeah.
Been there a couple times. I haven't been to Hudson's yet. I need to.
But it focuses around shopping and drinking. And,
shopping and drinking for sure. I don't know what else there is on
I
the
would,
list after that.
I like over in Manchac, there's that Armadillo Den. I know you've probably never been there, but I think that is a place that
cool
Dripping Springs could really use. Where, I mean, there's food. There's like a
big stage and TV and tables.
And
they have fire pits everywhere. Yeah.
So just like a place to go hang out.
Together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't been in a while, but I used to pop over to Treaty Oak every now and then because they kind of had a similar vibe. So
I guess maybe, I mean, like I know 12 Fox when they have their some of their special events.
But
they have
still,
several
that's
things.
drinking mostly.
But I think there's drinking available, but there's other things at the place where you don't necessarily have to participate in the drinking, like the Oktoberfest and stuff like that. That's what I was talking about.
We met with the Twisted X guys a while back, and obviously that's a brewery and there's drinking, but they want to stay busy and they're trying to do more stuff. And one of the things the guys said over there, I think it was Hunter, the owner, he was like, we don't want people to just come here to sit down and drink. Like we want them to be celebrating something or doing something here. So, there was a plethora of things that we had kind of talked to them about. But so, there's definitely, I think throughout the town, especially these business owners that have a quote venue type, like them are looking for ways.
Well, I think the closing of Dreamland, that was kind of a real eye-opening. It's like people didn't know what they were missing until they missed it, and it's like I mean Dreamland's business model was a little confusing, right? So they had
it changed like 5 times.
They had all push. They had push all in, and then they were backing off. I think the biggest problem is employment, trying to find people to work there, and then now they're auctioning everything off. And apparently it's going to be a Walmart. Not really.
No.
But
do not. Yeah, boy, we'll get hate mail for days.
The only time I go to Walmart now is when I go home to Louisiana. Right? I'm like, I don't want to do that. Yeah, because I'm right across the street basically from Dreamland. So when I heard they were closing, I was like,
I mean, it kind of had a little bit of everything.
Yeah, they'd have live music a bunch, and it's a place for families, and who doesn't love mini golf?
So hopefully somebody will pick up that torch and carry it and have something.
I have one more question. So you met Nathan, what's his nickname?
Pookie,
which apparently he loves, but I find that hard to believe. But yes,
and she also has a dog. Did you know she has a dog?
Okay, what's the dog?
I have a little basset hound.
Oh,
his name is Bo.
Bo the basset hound.
But it's not B-O.
It's Beaux.
Oh, okay.
He might be Texas
That makes
born,
sense,
but
Morgan.
he is
Yeah.
Louisiana by birth.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That makes complete sense. You mentioned you met Nathan kind of through social media. Are you a big social media fan, or how?
Like in terms of, do I think it's bad?
Yeah.
There's pros and cons to everything. There's pros and cons to it. You know, I don't think we're so much in that era of like the quote cyberbullying like they used to preach to us in school in 5th grade. But you know, and then especially for people like us who are in the fitness world, like we're in that. It's easy to see someone who's getting ready to compete, or just someone who looks better than you, and it's like, God,
What are they doing?
You know, why don't my shoulders look like that? You know, it's like something as little and silly as that. So I think right now the biggest issue, and I don't know if it's just for my generation or it's just my opinion, or if everyone's kind of feeling it, I think comparison, because too, like, everyone is using social media to push their career and their side hustle and their this and this, and it's like, why am I not more ahead? Why am I not doing this? You know, like, it's really easy right now to fall into something like that.
It's a necessary evil, I think, right
it
now.
is a necessary evil, because, you know, you as a business, you want to share what you're doing and your impact and bring awareness to you, and it's a simple thing to do. It doesn't take that much, and you know, I guess as long as you stay on top of it. But yeah, I mean, just like everything, I think there's pros and cons.
Yeah, it just feels like it went from something that could be really cool, where a group of friends could all stay in touch and, you know, talk about things and share pictures, to this. Like, when I get on Instagram, I just feel like it's somebody trying to sell me one. Even the stuff that's not ads, it's just like somebody has an agenda, and it's like, I almost hate it. But I'm sorry, D.
Yeah.
D always
Oh,
gives me
here we
crap
go.
when I say I hate social media. I'm sorry, D. But, you know, I think there are some positives that can come out of it, but it's kind of morphed into something that can be pretty bad on some certain levels.
Yeah, I think
too.
what you allow as best as you can control onto what comes onto your feed and who you're following, and that energy you're putting back and forth, and the same thing, like, what are you posting? What are you showing of yourself? Are you the one being honest, or are you making people to believe this one thing or another? So yeah, it's interesting to see what'll be next and what's going to come.
Yeah,
later
I feel
on.
like there's something changing about social media. I think people have kind of gotten like they're looking for the next thing. I don't know what the next thing is, but I think there's something coming down.
I still look at it as some sort of a digital photo book or memory book. So I still like to go back there and go, like I did it to you last week. I was like, Steve, can you believe this has been 5 years since we did whatever? So it is kind of fun to me. Like I
like
things.
that.
Yeah, I like to post things and then, you know,
Memories
later
and
and
stuff.
go, oh, that was, I totally forgot about
But then
that.
you
That was
have, like Dripping Springs Neighbors is great, but every once in a while you have somebody post something and then 300 people pile on and say the most negative
cool.
crap. It just drives me nuts.
People are gonna run whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be haters, and, you know, TikTok comments might be a funny place, but
oh god, TikTok comments are my favorite rabbit hole.
It's pretty awesome. But you know,
They're some of the funniest people on the internet.
They are, and but you know, to your point about the negative people, you know, there's someone on the other side of that, and they're reading that comment and they don't think that's you know, that funny. So it's I think it's a give and take, and like you said, a necessary evil, because it helps.
It's not going away for sure, but I think it is going to change. Yeah.
I just did a TikTok video the other day, and it was one of those things where you can like do the filter, and it told me how much of a woman I am. So apparently I'm 80% woman. So just wanted to let you know.
20% what? Gnome.
Guess so.
20% gnome. Okay, I have some rapid fire questions for you, girlfriend. Okay. What is up with all the drive-through daiquiri places in Louisiana?
This is awesome. When I first brought Nathan home, I was able to point out two to him in within a 5-mile radius. Hey, here's one here. Go cross the bridge around the corner, and there's another one.
I
think
never heard
I
of
said
it.
something to someone about it one time, and they were like, "I drive there, what are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Oh." Not that I even frequent the ones that are at home, but it was just like that was normal. Like they're everywhere to me, and they're not here.
So it's
It
a
was just-
daiquiri, like a strawberry daiquiri.
Okay,
or
but
margarita, but like
Margarita.
you can't
yeah.
drink and drive. What?
No, but they'll give you a straw, but the lid will be on, not
taped.
punctured, and a tape over the top. I mean, you can go to Torchy's right now and get
that's
a drink
true.
to go, and they'll
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
But for COVID, that started coming here a little bit.
Yeah,
yes?
COVID, but they've been around in Louisiana for as long
forever.
as I remember. My dad used to live in Terrytown, and I remember like I was thinking, you know, I'm 8 years old. I'm like, ooh, a daiquiri.
Yeah.
You know, no, it's not like it's a daiquiri.
Do you remember those drive-through stores
Red
where
Barns?
you drive through and there'd be like coolers on the
Yep,
side and you
yep.
get out and throw some Budweiser or something in the back of the truck?
Yep.
There was one on Congress for years. They shut it down. I think there's like a one of those lingerie stores there now. I was trying to think of a nice word to say.
Lingerie store.
Yeah, go ahead.
And kind of to that same point, when I was in college, I was working at a local brewery that we had, and I was working on a Sunday because we were open on Sundays, and we opened at 11 a.m. We didn't wait till 12, 1 or 2, and this girl came in. And she kind of popped in. She was like, "Are y'all open?" And I was like, "Yeah, come on in." And she came in, and she was from Ohio, and she was like, "I cannot believe this place is open right now." She was like, "Are you serving?" And I was like, yeah. And we had food too, like it wasn't just that, but it's funny the cultural difference.
The cultural,
It is.
for sure. Well, I mean, it is Louisiana. Okay, so do you call them crawdads or crawfish?
Crawfish,
Oh, okay. Etouffee, jambalaya, or gumbo, if you had to choose.
gumbo.
I had gumbo last night for dinner. It was so good.
It wasn't real gumbo, was it?
What do you mean real?
Oh,
Yes.
well, you said you were going to have something else and call it gumbo.
No, I said Irish stew. He said
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
you
'cause
said,
it
yeah,
was
that's
St.
what it
Patrick's
was.
Day. It was
Okay,
St.
that's
Patrick's
right.
Day, yes. Have you ever been to Mardi Gras on the actual day?
In New Orleans?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, because it's a
Disgusting.
shit show. Yeah, it smells like piss and vinegar. 100%.
Yeah, you know what they do? I've been there during that time, and they have a whole crew that comes through at like 4 a.m. and power washes the streets. Yeah, because it's disgusting
I could see
down
that.
there.
Louisiana humidity or Texas heat? Which one would you choose? Right? That humidity,
That's a tough one.
that'll get you.
That's tough.
And you got long hair.
I know.
It's not a serious question.
I think maybe being from Louisiana has helped me handle the Texas heat because I'm like, okay, it's hot. It's not great to be outside for longer than 5 minutes, but I grew up with that forever, so maybe I'm more tolerant of the Texas heat
just
because
not melting.
I'm not sweating instantly.
Here's something that Steve thought was absolutely disgusting, one of these things, and he didn't understand. Oh, no. Would you choose a beignet or a king's cake?
Why would that be disgusting?
King's cake to me is just like the worst thing on the planet. I have no idea why anybody would eat that. It's disgusting.
Have you never had a homemade one?
Maybe I haven't.
He's had like a packaged. He's seen the packaged ones where they're dry already.
no.
and- that's not.
Yeah, you need
It's like a big old cinnamon roll.
You need the cinnamon sugar
Yeah.
and cream cheese innards and
Well, maybe, but
And the baby in the middle,
I've never
yeah.
had that.
So which
Everyone I've
one?
ever had, I was like, why would anybody put
I
this
haven't had a
in their
beignet in a long time. We didn't go the New Orleans route
Yeah.
much. Where my family's from is more east. I mean,
I do like me a
opposite.
good
Yeah.
beignet.
but yeah.
Again, you know what? We went to New Orleans and we waited. There's that real famous place kind of down
Café
by the
du
water.
Monde.
Yes, and
Yeah.
we waited in line and we got those, and I was like, yeah, it's good, but it wasn't worth a half-hour wait.
Well, no, because you know what you do? You go there, and if the line is long, you go to the place next door, and it's the exact same.
Oh, is it?
beignet. Yeah, it's the exact
Okay.
same. Or you go to the to-go.
Well, we wanted
yeah.
to say we went to the world famous place.
I hope you know what I'm referencing here when I say this, but I understand that it's a big debate in Louisiana. Is it Tabasco or Crystal hot sauce?
Tabasco.
There you go. Yeah, Tabasco's from there.
Well, I knew that.
Well,
Thank
I've
you.
never heard
Didn't
of
teach me
Crystal
anything
hot
new.
sauce.
What, you haven't heard of that? I've
maybe
never
it's,
heard of that
maybe
either.
it's further south. Maybe it's further
Crystal
southern
hot
Louisiana.
sauce?
Yeah, Crystal hot
Is
sauce.
that the same thing as Tabasco, or is that
seen
a
it.
different?
It's similar to Tabasco. I've seen it on the tables before.
Do you like Tabasco?
I'm not really a hot sauce person.
Yeah.
Nathan loves it.
I'm
He
not-
keeps Tapatio. He puts it on everything.
Yeah,
And I was like,
I've been
okay.
getting Yellowbird, the
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
the bougie
I
hot
think it's
sauce.
a local. I think they're local from Austin.
Yeah.
That's really good. I don't like Tabasco sauce, but I'll do some
Interesting.
Yellowbird.
The bougie. Morgan, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you coming in here. We had a little last minute cancellation, and
You bailed us out,
bailed
Morgan.
us
Bailed you
out,
out.
And you
big
did
time.
really, really
Yeah,
good.
did
Thank you so
amazing.
much for coming in.
And Steve did really good for not knowing a lick of anything about you.
We just kind of winged it. I had a couple questions, but you did really, really
You
well.
did really good.
Oh.
Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to this beautiful wedding of yours.
I know. It'll be here quick.
That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, congratulations and thank you again.
Thank you guys.